this whole thing around being thankful, I think is one of the most important traits that a human being needs to have. Because the second you become ungrateful to people, to Allah, to anyone else, it causes major issues. So I think the whole thing around building a gratitude attitude for you to really focus heavily on being grateful and focusing on the positive and thanking Allah and thanking people, I think this is a huge thing. It's huge. So with something like this, what I do is in the morning, with the rest of my morning activities, I will actually think about 3 things that I am grateful to Allah for. Okay, like actually thinking about 3 things and writing them down in the 5-minute journal. What are things that I'm grateful to Allah for, right? And thanking Allah for that. So I would say that this should become a general habit that you do every day if you're not doing it already every day. If you want to take it to the next level, you could do it twice a day. So for example, you could do it in the morning with Fajr, and then in the evening, you could do it with Isha or Maghrib or with your bedtime. But have a routine for the morning, have a routine for the evening. And like I said, it doesn't need to be a long routine. But I think that, there's a lot of YouTubers, they're like, no, don't have a routine, don't do no routines, his routines are long. I'll be like, look, the Prophet ﷺ had certain routines. There's certain adhkar the Prophet ﷺ would say. There's certain du'as that the Prophet ﷺ would say. You need to make sure that you have a routine with some of these things that are the sunnah. And I think thanking Allah, making istighfar, all of these things are really good. So what I would say is if you haven't attached it once a day, attach it once a day. If you're doing it once a day and you want to level it up, take it to the next level, then actually do it twice a day, right? You could even have a random alarm that comes on, once a day, where it's like thank Allah for something. So you can take this habit and up and up. And this whole thing around massive change in my life, I think a lot of massive change in your life comes from little habits that you do often. So it doesn't necessarily have to be like massive life-changing action today. I do think you can do life-changing action in a heartbeat. But at the same time, I think doing this kind of stuff, being thankful every morning, I think that'd be really strong and powerful. The other habit that I would say is the planning thing. Everyone that does this, they swear about it, that planning the night before what you're going to do the next day is very powerful. And they would say it's not the same as waking up today and going, okay, what shall I do today? Let me plan and think about it. They all swear by it that there is a massive difference in planning your day the night before than planning it in the morning, right? So again, this is something that I would advise you, that you start thinking about the night before what your plan is for the next day. And again, to make it easier to implement, I would advise that you add this on to an existing habit. So for example, if you already have a nighttime routine, you could add it to that. If you already have Isha or Adhkar or something that you do, you can just add it onto that. Or some people, when they finish work for the day, they will add it on then and go, tomorrow I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this. So you could also do it in that way as well. This is what I'm saying. If you want to ramp it up, what I would do is not only would I be grateful to Allah, but every day I would listen to some content about being grateful to Allah, or about developing a gratitude attitude, right? So you can notch it up. And this is what I'm saying, any area you want to focus on, whatever you put in, it will have an effect on what comes out. So if you feel like, okay, I'm not praying enough, watch videos on prayer, or the importance of prayer, or the benefits of prayer, or the blessings of prayer, right? Same thing with gratitude. If you feel like you're not being enough gratitude, if you feel like you're not being grateful enough, then every day watch videos about gratitude. And if you keep watching them, I promise you, it will have a massive effect on you. But like I said, if you forget during the day, then maybe you put a random alarm on that comes on at, 2:38 every day and says, remember gratitude or be grateful to Allah. And then you do it again at night. But what I'm saying is that there's little things you can do like that can actually push you and remind you. But you need to decide, is this my biggest thing? If it's your biggest thing, then I would do that. And I think that this kind of relates to what you said about priorities. I think it's very difficult to have 12 different priorities. Okay, it's very difficult to have 12 different priorities. So what I think is that you should try and reduce it and have as few as possible. So for example, someone will have work as a big priority, and then they'll have wealth or business as a big priority. If they don't have work, they'll have business. One of those two, right? There'll be a big chunk. Someone might have health, fitness as a big chunk. And then the third one will be like family. So this kind of thing where you've got 3 priorities, like it makes it quite easy as opposed to having 12 priorities. So when you look at your life right now, what do you think is your number 1 priority right now? What is your number 2 priority, do you think? What's the third one? So let's say that those are your 3 priorities: Islamic education, your business, and your fitness. So what I would do is I would basically advise that everything now you focus on this. So because Allah and Islam and things are in there as well, I would actually say, what are the things that I can drop which will then be pushed into these three things? So are there things that I'm doing which are not falling under one of these three? If they are, I'll be like, I'm dropping them, I'm going to delay them, I'm not doing them right now. What you want to do is you want to get to a place where you figure out what your priorities are, you drop the things that are not priority, and you take that time that you gain, those resources that you gain, money, whatever it is, and you put it into the priority stuff. Because right now, you might be sitting at home watching videos about, I don't know, beard oil, okay? So beard oil is not like a priority. You shouldn't be watching videos. You should take that time that you're watching beard oil videos, and you should be watching videos on gratitude, or watching videos on business, or watching videos on fitness. Like whatever your priorities are, that's what you need to be focusing on. And so part of this is figuring out your priorities, which you've just figured out there. And then part of it is going and saying, where are all the times when I'm spending money and time on things that are not my main priority? And how do I reroute that where it needs to go?